Hello, everyone. Welcome to the PODI-Cast. Today we have a lovely guest, Zach Weeb, here with us, a very good pal of ours from the parkour community out in Grand Prairie. I believe we met you in Edmonton, did we not, Zach?
Yeah, it was the grand opening of the Fly Free Gym. The good old days.
Damn,
yeah.
throwback.
Hella throwback.
Ages ago.
For about
That was-
5-3. Wow.
Yeah.
That was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah, man.
Oof.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Well, we've got a couple random topics to talk about today. We're talking about bad ad campaigns, and we're also going to be talking about experiences with the paranormal. Today, I'm your host, Jay, and beside me, we've got our co-host, Brody Shaw.
I am your host, Jay.
We're still doing this, huh?
Absolutely.
And below me, I've got Ben Graham.
Hey, I'm actually Brody. I'm the co-host.
And then Mike.
Hello, I'm not a co-host, but it's okay.
And then we've got Rare.
Hey, yeah.
And of course, our guest, Zach.
Who?
Zach.
Who?
Zach? Hello?
Who
Zach?
am I?
You're an owl in here?
The only show that makes you ask, who am I?
Who are you really? Brody, do you want to get into your topic here? This one was brought to us by Brody Shaw himself.
Listen, I just kind of wanted to, every time I see this, it makes me feel emotions, anger, confusion, pain. So, okay, you all know,
100% reason to remember the name.
Yeah, absolutely. The Smarties campaign, which actually is more of a Canadian thing because I know Smarties in America are not a thing. But like Smarties, the little chocolate-covered candies, or chocolate candy-coated covers. I can't fucking talk, guys.
Candy-coated
I have
chocolate.
sleep apnea. The candy-coated chocolates,
better.
they're better M&Ms. They had like a campaign that was like, eat the red ones last, and they had this whole song. Like, that was good. It gave you something fun to do with your candy. Then there was like Kit Kats, like Give Me a Break. They had a whole fucking song with that too. Give Me a Break, your Kit Kat bar. It's a good ad campaign. The what was the one you brought up earlier? The Twix, right?
Oh, the Twix.
The
Are
left and
you
right
you
Twix.
lift Twix or right Twix? Kind
Are
of
you-
person.
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
Yeah,
Like, it's
that was
good. It's something silly. They're both exactly the same,
They
obviously.
took it to such an extent too. They were claiming that they each half were made in different factories and stuff. Like, it was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
They
yeah.
they went the whole 9 yards with it.
It was good. Now, Reese's Cups, which are the chocolate-covered peanut butter cups, they have been doing a campaign that I've seen on TikTok where it's a debate between when you peel the cup off, it being a little bit dirty, like a little bit of chocolate left behind, or being a clean peel of the cup. And apparently, they're trying to play it off as this big debate, like this has been a thing from the beginning of the Reese's Cups creation. And it's just fucking not, dude.
It never
it's a fucking
has been.
candy wrapper.
You
Like, why?
I actually haven't seen this, but this might have started. I was working out of town for a long time and away from just all social media in general, but it's literally telling people that you either eat the Reese with it as a clean cup or you have Reese's on.
Listen, the
So,
argument
like-
is... You go ahead, Rhea. You tell it. You got it.
I was gonna say it's either do you finish the candy and whatever's left on the wrapper you leave, or are you the type of person that licks the wrapper to get the last bit off? That's kind of what they're going for. They're like, do you eat the entirety of the Reese, or do you just eat what you can get?
So they're questioning
and
if
then-
you're wasteful or not. Is all they're
No,
is
but
all
the
they're
argument
saying.
is it's a snack for after. Like, it's a little treat for after you eat your Reese's because there's a little bit left on the bottom
What?
of your fucking wrapper.
So
That's
don't
like
think
eating
that-
crumbs afterwards.
People are gonna
that doesn't-
throw it out.
No
We're-
one fucking
You're the type
does
of
that.
person that leaves
Dude.
it. You're tossing it.
we're not freaking house hippos over here. We're not saving our Reese's wrappers in our purse as a snack for later.
Dude, yeah, that's like non-ironically keeping ketchup in your beard for later.
No, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I
like,
want to shave right
Bro.
now. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh!
Dude, I would
but-
never ever leave a Reese's wrapper for later and be like, oh, I gotta-
oh, look! I can
when
lick
I
this
get
off.
home.
Fuck, man.
Oh, I'm such a dirty boy over here with my Reese's cup.
It's like licking
No,
toilet
that's-
paper. Like, it's terrible.
No,
Yeah,
it's got to be just something that's just because like it probably in storage somewhere the oils from the Reese's cup just like seep into that wrapper and then just make it
Yeah.
so it just naturally peels, and it's just like, okay, instead of actually fixing the thing, we're just gonna go ahead and make a meme out of it so that
yeah, right. They need a new marketing team, is what they need.
Well, it's like, why don't you just fix the goddamn problem of your Reese's chocolate peanut butter cup sticking to the damn wrapper instead of
Right?
making a whole campaign about it
This-
online?
This is something
Ditch the
Mike's
wrapper.
been sensitive about for fucking years. He is so pissed that when he eats Reese's, there's leftovers on his wrapper.
It's actually,
He's gonna
you
catch
know
a
what?
Reese in years
You know
because
what?
of it.
It if anything, this campaign just made me mad because it just brought up that whole idea. Just like, hey, why the fuck is the wrapper going ahead and clinging to the bottom of my Reese's cup? Why the hell is this happening? This is annoying. I paid for this product, and it's just not in a very nicely accessible form anymore. It is on the wrapper. I'm not going to be a peasant to lick the wrapper, despite anything that anybody else is going to go ahead and tell me.
And it's not even like a lick. Like I see a message here. It is. You're scraping it with your teeth off, hoping to get the rest of it off. It doesn't lick
Yeah.
off. It's chocolate and peanut
No.
butter. You ever seen what a dog does with peanut butter on the roof of their mouth?
Totally.
Reese's just put a roof of your mouth to cling on into their wrapper. That's all they did.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's
But,
just
like-
such a ridiculous thing.
But
You
what
guys
could
eat
be a
Reese's?
better marketing campaign for Reese's? Like the whole time I've been sitting here, like what?
Thank
Oh,
you.
What would they? What could
got
they
it.
actually do? But like, yeah, let me go first because I had an idea. I like eating them frozen.
Mm-hmm. Oh
I
yeah,
think they taste
Ooh.
phenomenal frozen. So, do
Yeah.
you eat your Reese's frozen?
See,
that's a good one.
that's good.
See, now
That's
does that solve the chocolate being stuck to the peanut butter cup?
Probably, yeah.
Probably
It
Yeah.
yes.
does actually.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
The
I
problem is
feel
they
like there
melt
needs
a
to be
little bit and
testing.
they stick. So I think if you have it
Yeah.
frozen, it's gonna like hold to itself better than it's gonna hold to the wrapper.
There we go. We just solved the entire debate right there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like they don't have much
Right.
else going for them.
Yeah,
I
why?
mean,
no.
Yo, I mean, Reese's, if you're listening, you should change your campaign to warm or cold Reese's. It might work out better.
Reese's soup.
They,
Reese's
Then again, that
soup
kind of reminds me.
or
That
frozen.
reminds me of like
Yeah.
when Mini Wheats was trying to do that campaign of whether or not you put, or like they were trying to kind of promote having Mini Wheats as like this winter snack food where you had it with warm milk or like hot milk.
I remember that.
Ew.
And you're just
that's
like,
the only way I've
ugh.
seen people eat mini wheats.
What?
What?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Oh, no.
I've never seen
What?
someone eat mini wheats other than with hot milk.
Bro.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, to me that's a little more normal too. Like
What?
it's kind of like a porridge substitute.
Yeah,
What
that's
the
exactly
fuck?
what I've seen, guys.
Maybe
Yeah.
this
Really?
world is bigger than I thought.
My horizons are widening.
No, that's actually incredible considering that like I've like for cereals it's always been just you take your milk or whatever like substitute you have and then you put that on the cold cereal. Like that's just how it works for me. Because
Yeah.
that's the convenience side of it. Like going through those extra steps to warm up the milk to only have like even like soggy out your stuff even more. It never sunk
Yo.
on my
Yeah.
end. So
I don't know, man.
So
I
here's
didn't know
something.
mini wheats were cereal till right now. So I thought they were specifically made for that. That's news to me. I'm not gonna
Why
lie.
are these in the cereal
Whoa.
aisle? These should
Well, I
not
thought they
be
were in
here.
porridge. So of course they're in the cereal aisle. Like I thought they were like porridge. You put them in hot milk.
Yeah.
They kind of
You know,
soft
that
up. I
changed-
hated them. I thought they had a disgusting texture, and I didn't realize you could just eat them with cold milk. That was not an option I had
Yeah.
ever considered.
in my
Not
opinion,
even mini wheats rare. Have you ever tried the big ones or seen the big ones? They're
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh
my god.
My grandfather used to like get both, and he'd put them with hot milk. And he's the only person I've ever seen eat like mini wheats or like the full size ones, and that's exactly how he did it.
Wow.
You know what? Since we're talking about cereal, I had a friend of ours, Colin. We were out in Drumheller shooting a TV show for a week, and he started working with us. And everything closed up, so we had to go to a 7-Eleven for our dinner one night. And
Classic.
Bougie.
here was his choice. And to those of you who know him, it may not surprise you, but at the same time, I think we need to talk about this. His go-to was one of those small boxes of Fruit Loops and Rolo milk. That
Oh wow, that's
That hit the
Oh,
mark
right
like
there.
head on.
yeah.
fruity cereal with
Did he get a
chocolatey
Ranger
milk.
coffee too?
Sorry?
Oh my god.
Did he get a Ranger coffee too?
No, but that would be the only other step.
I'm surprised you didn't
That's
mix it with Monster instead or
hilarious.
something like.
Colin's not much of like a caffeine guy, so like I think that's where that comes from. Is he needs some like chocolatey, sugary substance to kind of perk him up. But
'Cause I've-
he acted like
I've
it was
had-
totally normal. He's like, "What do you mean you've never had Fruit Loops with Rolo milk before?" I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Like I've had Lucky Charms with chocolate milk, but that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that
yeah, that's
out
Lucky
there because that's not
Charms.
like fruity.
Cursed.
Well, did
Yeah,
they
so
have like
he's-
chocolate like Lucky Charms before?
They
like,
do have chocolate Lucky Charms.
So
and
yeah,
they're
it's not too
delicious.
far. It's not like too far out from the pale right there.
No, right?
Closest
See, that's
thing to
not
that-
bad.
The closest thing to that I've ever had was chocolate milk with Rice Krispies, and I hated it so much. I was like, I'm never mixing anything but regular milk with cereal again. And okay, if we're on the topic of cereal, I have an important
Yes.
question. Do you keep your cereal separate, or are you a heathen and you mix your cereals?
Listen,
Separate.
Are
listen.
you a purist or a combination?
Okay.
Barrett,
Jay, you go
hold on.
first.
There's
and
only
then
one
we'll-
right
let's-
answer.
Let's
There is
just
only
go
one
down the
right
way.
That is
Let's go down the
incorrect.
way.
Go
No.
down the line. Jay, you're up.
I believe that 90% of cereals need to be solo, but there's the occasional combination that is okay.
Examples.
Examples?
Yeah.
Um,
I need Appendix A, please.
Can't make a claim that large and then not give like evidence.
rare is steaming.
Fuming.
I really don't mind the combination of Frosted Flakes and Rice Krispies. I think
That's a
those
little
two
fucked up.
Like
I
the two
think
worst
those-
cereals. I'm sorry.
I think those two go good together. Like the Frosted Flakes help bring the Rice Krispies up, and then you got a soggy mess to eat. It's great.
All right.
Respect
It makes
Okay.
me. It just makes me remind me. It reminds me of my childhood. That's all. It's really shitty.
That's fair.
I love the self-deprecating humor here.
Oh, we do.
Oh,
Listen, okay. I am a purist until I only have half a bowl left in each of my 2 boxes. What am I supposed to do? Go buy another
You eat
entire
half a bowl.
box? I'm not
Hey,
trying to
man.
murder myself by eating cereal every day of my life. I just mix them. And listen, okay, cereal is often a combination of a bunch of different little bits all in one. What's adding a couple more different little bits? It's not a big deal. It's fine.
Okay,
Like,
so you're-
listen, you get fruity Lucky Charms, and you got some Fruit Loops left. It's the same shit, different shape. You just put it in a bowl together. Rare's crying.
You can literally see
telling
the
me-
tears running down his face.
you're a cereal opportunist, essentially.
Yeah.
He's
bro,
more of
just
a
make 2
utility. No,
half
he's
bowls. Just
he's-
eat them separately.
No, he's more of a utilitarian, and I fall into that too because like in my household there is a practice where so long as you don't eat the last little bit of the cereal box, you don't have to deal with it. So
It just
by
stays
the end
in
of
the
it,
cupboard.
it just becomes like so. I've had it where I've had about 5 or 6 different cereal boxes with the smallest amount of like couple bits and like basically powder at that point. And then I'm just like stuck there. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? I don't want to just toss it all out. So at the end of the day, yes, I'm very much like Brody, where, I'm very utilitarian when it comes to my cereal, and I will perform the black magic that is mixing the cereal together. So I understand that it is taboo, and is probably going to summon some sort of demon somewhere in the world and just, annihilate a nation somehow. But I just know that, the work put into raising that cereal grain, getting it to where it needs to be, is too great for me to just toss it out. So I'm gonna mix that all up in a bowl. I'm gonna eat it. I don't care how it's gonna taste as long as it's nutrition.
God, he's just a cereal vacuum, this man.
I mean,
it also comes down to like, hey, it's preference. You can't argue preference.
This is true.
It's
But
true.
for me, it's like the
It's not
utility of
preference.
me
There's
eating.
a right wrong answer here.
No. I still
Where-
I still play by the utilitarian aspect of it, that I don't want to waste food, so I'm going to eat however the cereal is going to come together.
I haven't had cereal in like maybe 3 years. Like last thing I had, someone brought me some tricks, and like I had to go to the store to go get milk to get it. Like my breakfast is just not cereal anymore. I haven't had cereal in so long. So like maybe
Yeah,
I
for
should
me,
just go
it's
get some Rice
more,
Krispies and Frosted Flakes and just
Cereal's always been like a
have
nighttime
a
snack for
shower
I
me.
was gonna
cereal.
say, yeah,
you
cereal's
guys
a
might have to
bedtime
find a
snack.
separate place when we move to Vancouver if this is how you guys are going to be.
We're gonna combine your boxes of cereal without you looking.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What I don't understand is how you guys let it get to the only half bowl left. Because I'm the kind of person that if I notice it, I'm just gonna put
Yeah,
that much extra in my cereal bowl. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm with you, Zach. I'm with you.
Y'all are nuts.
Yo,
Zach
Y'all are
is-
wasteful to me.
Zach is a
just
full
take the
send
bag
and no
and,
send
like,
kind of guy.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Again,
I'll
raw
put
dog
it
it.
until there's no room
Raw
for
dog
milk.
it.
I'll just pile it in. Yeah, raw dog.
again, that's all fun and games, but then like sometimes it's just not enough room in the bowl. And
As we're talking about, you get the bag, you.
Yeah.
You put the
You get
milk
a
in the
bigger
bag.
bowl. I have
Or-
definitely had mixing bowls of cereal before to make sure I didn't get down to the last grains. Like,
Just like a
Listen.
massive bowl.
Yeah, I need to know.
I'm not kidding. Like,
So from the one giving us all the criticisms, what's let's hear it, Rare. Let's hear it.
first of all, the only cereals that are allowed to be mixed are like they have to be the same cereals. So you can mix Cheerios and Honey Nut Cheerios for a slightly less sweet Honey Nut Cheerio, or Frosted Flakes and Corn Flakes for slightly less sweet Frosted Flakes. That is like the only acceptable mix. And I will fight about this. Like, I will throw hands over this. This is important. If you get down to 2 half bowls of cereal, then you eat them separately as 2 separate half bowls. You pour yourself your half bowl of Frosted Flakes, finish it, and then go get the half bowl of Fruit Loops, because they don't go together. It's so wrong. Like, we used to have, when I was living with my parents, we used to have like containers that would keep your cereal fresh for longer. And we'd buy a different sweet cereal every time, so we'd always have like a stockpile of Honey Nut Cheerios, but then we'd alternate between like Frosted Flakes and Corn Pops and like all that kind of stuff, whatever
Mhm.
I was feeling when I went and bought it. But someone decided to start pouring in the next cereal before we finished off the last one, and I stopped eating cereal.
I saw the rage in your eyes when you said that. I saw the like pure rage.
Yeah,
it was
like
at that
I
point
just
that I was
stopped.
Run.
I haven't
I
had
was
cereal in like
crossed.
a year and a half. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 exceptions where I like was at someone else's place and they had cereal and I could have some, but like I have not paid for or eaten cereal from my own place in more than a year and a half because somebody mixed my fucking cereal.
dude,
That's
Tragic.
that
This
is
deep
kind
seated
of
trauma.
that is kind of crazy. Yeah, like you saw the trauma, like just instantly reflect on his face. So we need to arrest whoever did that. Because
There's
I,
an open investigation. Rare has an
We'll never
investigator
know.
on the case.
I still agree with the fact that you can't just mix every cereal. There's some that mix good together. Like if you
Hey,
try it, it's like mixing.
definitely.
Yeah, but like Rare, how does chocolate milk and Fruit Loops make you feel inside?
That makes me feel awful. I mean, it was a terrible mix.
But Rolo milk, like it's got the caramel too and everything, so it's like
No.
caramel
Be a dessert at that point.
chocolate milk.
Oh,
Chocolate.
I don't like chocolate in the first place.
Yeah,
Chocolate milk
true.
is like one of the exceptions to chocolate that I can like actually enjoy. And my God, the thought of wasting good chocolate milk by putting it in cereal is upsetting. And then you're also wasting the cereal too, because I'm not gonna want to eat that either. It's
Oh
man, I
my
lived off
gosh.
cereal for like 3 years when I moved out like the first time.
Yeah.
Like, all I bought myself.
Anytime I saw you eating it was cereal, man.
It was just easy and it was delicious, and I did not get it as a kid, so I was like, "Fuck it, it's my life. I'm eating cereal."
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
That's fair enough. You finally get to eat the cereal you want to eat.
know,
Okay.
Now
top,
I don't
how
have
do you-
cereal because someone mixed it.
How do you feel about this, Rare? Beck and I used to put protein powder in our cereal.
Yeah, not a problem.
Not a problem? Cool. Because
What
that's an easy
flavor?
way to
What
get
flavor
protein.
protein powder?
It would be like oh, you're gonna hate this. It'd be like a chocolate. A chocolate. I can't think about it for a second. It would be like a chocolate. It would be Lucky Charms, something like sweet in general.
See,
To
like
balance it
chocolate
out.
Lucky Charms, that's fine because they have chocolate.
It
Lucky
wasn't
Charms.
Fruit
That's
Loops.
shit.
I'll
like
give
that.
you that. It may not be my personal like flavor, but chocolate Lucky Charms have been established. They are a combination that can exist. I'll give you that.
All right. Okay, I'll take it.
I think Lucky Charms is like a definite like good combination with. I think that that's one of the things with chocolate milk that you can combine.
I'll raise you Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yes, this is another. What? Okay, let's go through and
Wait,
just
chocolate milk and cinnamon toast crunch?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I would agree with that, Ben. I've
It's
done
like
it
spaghetti
before.
and grilled
and
cheese.
it's
all
good.
I feel
over
like that's
or what?
established as well. I feel like that is established.
What are some other things that you think combine well with chocolate milk cereal wise?
Chocolate Lucky Charms.
Blueberries.
Cocoa Puffs.
Anything that's already chocolate.
Nesquik cereal.
Chocolate is
That was
chocolate.
going to be my next one. Was the chocolate cereal that like makes your milk chocolate, Nesquik.
That's
Mhm.
quick. Yep.
I used to love that stuff growing up, but now like Tim Hortons has like a Timbit cereal that's pretty much just doing the exact same thing, and I'm just like, they ruined it.
Does it turn your milk into Timbits?
I could imagine, probably.
That'd be
The
sick.
cereal expands into Timbits.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
let it
mix with the
soak and
milk.
then you let it dry overnight.
Damn.
And then when you
And
wake up in the morning, you've got Timbits.
Hell
Although
yeah.
then-
let's
And
go.
sour milk.
Yeah.
Timbits and sour milk.
That's
the
how you
worst
make
marketing
sourdough,
campaign
right?
I've ever heard.
do you eat your cereal with regular milk or sour milk? do you drink do you use buttermilk with your Nesquik?
I drink my milk with whipping cream.
Oh, dude, there's like a certain cafe drink. It's like Dolce or something like that. Where they will
Okay.
Dolce or something. Yeah, they'll do their they'll pull their espresso shot and then they'll steam like whipping cream.
Are you talking about the
Mm.
Delice lattes?
Yes.
At like Phil
Yeah.
and Seb.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm
The
so
Dolce?
scared to even try it because I know it's gonna be
No, it's-
hella decadent, and
it's-
like
it's-
I might like it a lot to the point where it's like I'm just gonna start drinking heavy cream.
So Phil and Seb, because they already don't focus on their coffee being like super sweet and like having cream and sugar like rammed into it, the Dolce latte is actually very, very, very tasty. It's like if
Sounds
you had
good.
a latte with like a couple sugars. If I was getting Brody a latte, I'd get him a Dolce latte.
Mm.
And it's still not that sweet, in my opinion. But I also have a sweet tooth, so don't listen to me. I don't know why I'm still talking about it. Listen, if we want to talk coffee, we'll talk coffee.
Oh boy, that would be a whole episode.
That,
There'll
that's
be a whole episode of me saying nothing.
No, it'd just be me. What? Okay, who actually drinks coffee in here?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But like
Oh yeah.
McDonald's coffee. That's
Okay,
kind of
so,
McDonald's
so
actually makes good
okay.
coffee. I've heard a lot
Yeah.
of people praise it.
Yeah.
McDonald's is
Out of
way
all the
better than
fast food
Tim's.
chains. Oh, it's phenomenal compared to Tim's.
I
Like, black
will-
coffee is like drinking tar.
Dude,
See,
I will
like, when I was
not
up-
touch Tim Hortons coffee. Like, if I need a
Yeah.
cheap, fast coffee to go at any hour of the night, it's McDonald's.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
at
like-
Tim's, I will not go near Tim's if he twisted my arm behind my back. It won't happen.
Yeah, like when I was working up in Hinton that summer, there was a Tim Hortons and a McDonald's basically right next to each other.
Mm.
And I mean, part of the reason why I never ended up going to Tim's was because every time I ended up having to bring the truck through that was using for work, the drive-through was always just such a hairpin turn and super narrow to the point where I'm just like, this is fucking sketchy and I don't want to destroy government property. So probably best. But then
Tell him it was
ended up getting
vandalism.
exactly. They never
They know
heard
Tim
of me.
Horton himself.
But
It's important.
yeah, McDonald's coffee, I definitely got a little bit into that when I was up in Hinton, and yeah, if I had to compare the two, yeah, there's definitely gonna go ahead and put McDonald's up there. But I guess as far as like coffee and culture, who goes ahead and is cultured in the coffee?
Not me, dude. I drink
Who knows how to
McDonald's coffee.
who knows how to do a pour over?
It is
Yeah,
I.
we do pour over.
There we
Absolutely.
go. All right, so then we just went ahead and sectioned off half of the group here, and now we're going to start our own talk.
You guys just sit there quietly.
Sit there quietly and let me tell you
Listen,
about
the
cannons.
adults are
I can
talking.
degenerate coffee by putting a pod in a machine. Fucking see you later.
Man, yeah. After having Nick like work at Phil and Sebastian, which is
Dude,
like one of the
Nick is
better
what made it happen
cafes
to
in
me
Calgary.
too.
Yeah, he is a terrible influence on me, and especially having like the espresso machine in the house.
Mm.
And now I
Yeah.
have to have like I'm a cup a day like every morning. Like it's just kind of part of my morning ritual. Like I'll wake up in the morning, pull my beans out of the freezer to keep them even more fresh, pop them into my automatic grinder that I have a bunch of settings for, and then just do the
Jeez.
whole damn thing. And then I
See,
just
that's-
have that in work.
It's just too
I
much
think
work
I've
for me.
only
man.
ever finished one cup of coffee, and I bought it from a 7-Eleven, and I poured 2 different kinds of 5-hour energy into it, and then half a
Holy
Monster as well.
shit,
That sounds
dude.
tragic.
It was just because it was so expensive, I had to finish it. Was the only reason I got through it too.
I don't
You were
feel like
talking about coffee culture, Mike.
So you refuse to mix cereals, but what the fuck concoction did you just describe? What
think it
is
was-
that?
I think it was on a bet. I'd make cereal on a bet. I have no moral standings or like any like line in the sand. As soon as somebody bets me something,
I see. Fair.
That's insane, bro.
I would
can't
never
even
mix
imagine the
cereal
taste.
until someone's like, "What are the odds you mix your cereal?" And then I'll be mixing cereal in a couple minutes.
so. Wait,
Fair
so
enough.
like you had that, and then it was just like, okay, I don't like coffee, but that's not that wasn't coffee at that point. That was like
I said,
Man,
Sludge
this
water.
coffee
I've
sucks.
finished.
I wonder what
I
happened.
know Mikey hates coffee. I know
People have given
why.
me coffee.
yeah, I
People
started
give me
having
coffee all
hot,
the time. They're like, "Oh, you won't like that coffee. Here, try this." Or,
Yeah.
"Oh, you haven't tried coffee until you've had this." And every time, I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is still disgusting. Thank you very much." That was
it's like-
the only cup that finished.
I could just
Hey,
imagine like,
hey,
hey, I
Rare.
went ahead and like mixed up all of this stuff into a cup, and then yeah, I don't like coffee anymore. It made my heart palpitate, and I had to go to the hospital.
Just,
I did
just
think
like,
I came close to a heart attack there. Like,
I'm not surprised, to be honest.
yeah. Hey, Rare, how do
Probably
you
about-
take your coffee? Oh, just like, I take it with 1 Monster and 2 5 hours.
Yeah, 10
What?
extra hours for me, please.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long
it's
day.
multiplicated at 25 hours. It's
Good to know.
Yeah. 5 hours times
man.
another 5 hours. I'm good for the whole day, and then some.
yeah.
Coffee is the square root of energy,
Oh,
apparently.
A mathematician.
That's what
More of a math
energy equals
magician,
mass
if you ask
times
me, but-
coffee squared.
well, personally, I feel absolutely dead without coffee in me. And that's where we're going to shift over to our our talk about ghosts. Ghosts.
That
We're
was a good
talking about
segue.
goats.
Wow, that was incredible.
Dude, ghosts. Hold on, wait. Before we get to the actual topic, how the fuck do goats stand on cliff sides like that? They can stand on like the width of a quarter.
Yeah, bro.
That's 'cause
Fucked
they're-
up.
Have you?
Anyway,
built
the
like
ghosts.
that.
It's just practice.
They built
It's,
that.
it's just like
Calves,
parkour.
bro.
Like there's goat wins on cliffs, and there's also goat fails on cliffs.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
never see the goat fails, dude. You never see them practice. You only
No,
see them
Like
like
how you never see a bear
I heard-
shit in the woods.
Google
I heard toe
goat
swipes
scales right
help.
now. Yeah.
Like ghosts, they just wipe their palms, do some toe swipes, and send it.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
for sure.
Hmm They gotta get them shoes squeaky clean so they get the nice grip. You know how it is.
So, anyways, ghosts.
Ghosts.
Boo.
This is a topic straight from Benjamin.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's asking us if we believe in the paranormal and if we've had any experiences.
And I'm
Benjamin,
talking. I don't mean just specifically ghosts. I mean like if you believe in like folklore or like
Mhm.
I don't know, werewolves, vampires, anything.
Sasquatch, shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Do you believe in it? Are you a believer? Are you a non-believer?
I wanna hear your stuff first, Ben. You go into it
Yeah.
a bit.
I'm a believer. I'll start with ghosts because, like, okay, first experience ever. I was at like my friend's house and he had a Ouija board and I just like felt uneasy about it. I was like, that thing looks creepy. What's it for? And he's like, oh, you talk to dead spirits with it. I was like, cool. And I was like 13 or 14, so I wanted to be edgy and do it. And we set up all like the candles in the basement and whatever. And then shit fell off the shelves. A candle blew out, and I just left. And ever since that day, I'm just like, I'm cursed, man. Like, because you're not supposed to leave until like you say goodbye on the Ouija
Yeah.
board, right? Like you have to like go to like goodbye. And I never did. I was just like, fuck that. It moved. Shit, other stuff moved. I'm out of here. Like I gotta go. So that was my story. Like that's why I believe it, because I don't know, I experienced some freaky stuff, and I was like, nope,
Fair.
not for me.
Fair enough. I know, like, a few of us have shared like random little ghost stories or creepy things, but Brody, I think you should go next.
So, I can't
Eh.
really say that I don't believe in them because I don't have any proof. But as a believer in God, you can't say no. I don't believe in demons and ghosts because that's kind of like
That's the thing.
Kind of a
Part of it, you
hallmark,
know what I
the
mean?
Yeah.
little bit of a cornerstone to the whole belief system.
I feel like there hasn't been anything that proves it. There hasn't really been anything that disproves it. Like there's so many fucking people out there that have said, oh my gosh, I had this encounter with this ghost and this spirit and blah blah blah. And there's so many people out there that are like, oh well, it's all fake. It's all fake. So like, is there just thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the planet that have mass hysteria and think they see ghosts?
The answer to that question is yes.
I don't know. It's hard to say. There's no way to disprove it or prove it. So
Look at
until I
Mike's
see
shit
something
eating
that
grin.
disproves
Look
it,
at him.
I'm going to believe in it. You know what I mean? I want to believe it because I feel like it'd be fun to be haunted.
I feel like that's some of the appeal of it, and that's why the horror culture is so huge, is because it's really fun to pander those ideas. You know, like that's why else would people be chasing a fucking Sasquatch? That's why I brought that up, because like I just saw a post the other day about someone in BC who just spends his life hunting the Sasquatch and like posting like sightings and like sharing like people's like, you know, oh, I heard this noise out in northern BC, and he'll go there, and
Yeah.
he'll like set up camp for a bit and try to find like I just feel like it's a really enjoyable thing to chase.
It's so
And
admirable.
yes, it is, right? It is.
Well,
But
it's
like, I don't think that anything is like super real necessarily, but I agree. I don't dismiss it because I think it's fun
Yeah.
for it to be a possibility, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like ghosts and cryptids are a bit of a different category, though. Like, you know, like the Kraken and stuff like that. Like, I mean, yeah, we've never been Like, there's lots of the ocean that we haven't explored. Who knows?
Yo,
There could
it's
be some giant
insane.
creature under there.
Yeah.
But also, how many years has the Earth been around? You know what I mean? Like, how have we not found the Sasquatch yet? Humans are fucking all over the place. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
we have
true.
to make a distinction between what is actually paranormal versus like, okay, what's kind of just like fantastical in the sense of the of like, you know, the sightings of a unicorn, kind of that type of lore.
See, would that be considered paranormal, or is paranormal like
paranormal
ghosts,
is
demons, witchcraft?
I think it would be paranormal if the unicorn has magical powers.
There we go. Yeah. So the idea behind paranormal is that it cannot be explained. So it's in large by in itself. It's just like, well, if you had to ask me, being very scientifically minded, then I have to say no, because it cannot be explained. Thus, you know, it doesn't fall within the scientific method. Thus, it doesn't fall within any type of rules and of, you know, any type of box that our reality actually functions as. And then anything that is quantifiable, say like, okay, if there was, say with ghost hunters, they typically like to go out with like little thermal guns and other things like that, that will read any type of kind of information and just be like, oh, okay, so if you'd actually be able to quantify it to a point where you can actually make predictions instead of just making, you know, after the fact of you getting the measurement, saying, oh, it's this is the ghost. It's just like, okay, well, now use that information to predict where that ghost is now.
Yeah.
Because there needs to be some sort of, you know, because if it's working in a universe, there is mechanics behind it. This is the same way. It's like, okay, you have the same way that like medicine works is that there's molecules that work with other proteins and other things inside your body that will cause a change within your structure. So until like you actually have mechanisms like defined and things like that, then it's like, yeah, it kind of gets relegated to the paranormal side of things. If it's not paranormal and it's actually been, you know, like it's been kind of
proven, expanded upon, explained.
Then it's no longer paranormal because now we have an idea of how it works. That's the same thing with like electricity, in the sense that, hey, it was this big paranormal force before people were just like, oh, thunder, lightning,
gods, or it's like demons, or
and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh no, it's just static electricity.
It's science, because you can replicate it. They learn how to replicate that, and that's where like the scientific method comes in. But the anomalies that you experience are the paranormals, and I think that's where like the ghost should exist, because those science guys going in with readers, they live on the anomalies, like that like sudden flux of something that's like, whoa, you know, it's not replicatable because they might never get that again, you know.
Exactly.
But
like I'm in the same sense as like, as much as we can't prove it scientifically yet, maybe we don't have the means to, the anomalies and such where these readings do happen, or people's stories or anything, there is total hysteria, because your mind can take you to crazy places, like with or without psychedelics or anything like that.
Exactly. If anything, like that's kind of the crux to it, is that, you know, our brain is wired to, it's not just unfiltered stuff that's coming in from our environment. We're like, any other stuff that we see visually is being played with by our brain, because it has to come in first. It goes into your brain, it gets pre-processed because it needs to have some sort of recollection of what's kind of going on.
It's just too much information to take at once. So your brain tries to filter important stuff out, and that filtering process can often twist things.
Yeah, have you ever like looking up at the clouds? Yeah, looking up at the clouds and then finding, you know, patterns in it is just a function of the brain trying to, you know, put everything into a knowable box and some sort of heuristic that it can work with. So the same thing works where it's like, hey, if say somebody says that they see a bunny in the clouds, all of a sudden you're going to start transposing the idea of a bunny into the clouds until you see the bunny.
Yeah.
The same thing happens in the dark though too. Like your brain has no data coming in, and so it decides to try and augment its own data to see things. Yeah.
And that's the one thing that like you get, like I think most of us forget, is that the brain is not like this unfeathered like construct. It's always constantly taking in information and trying to make the world the most, coherent place. So once there's something that's discordant to that, it's going to try to figure out a box to put whatever is in there. It's like all of a sudden there's like a car that drives by that casts a shadow in the back of your room. All of a sudden you're just like, oh, okay, what was that shadow? Oh, well, it kind of looked like a man. And now all of a sudden you're constantly taking that short-term memory and reprocessing it until all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, yeah, that was definitely a man. That was definitely a man. That was a shadow man. Oh shit, I got shadows. Oh fuck, I got demons. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh fuck. All right.
So much of our brain is also built for like being able to tell people apart, for like helping us through social situations, that we're like hardwired to see people like faces in almost everything. It happens all the time. You'll see it like in brick walls or in like knots on trees and like clouds. Like faces are super recognizable. So you'll often, that's why so much like ghost sightings happen. People will see a face in something that isn't actually a face, and then when they look at it all the way, it's no longer a face. It's why you often just get fleeting images and stuff. Now that being said, I am heavily a skeptic of the supernatural and stuff, but I don't rule it out entirely.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be so fun.
Not proof of absence.
It would be so fun, but man, unfortunately, there's really not a functional reason to really believe in that type of stuff until it's like, okay, well, now I have to work with ghosts like on a daily basis, so it's probably a little bit more, on my side to actually put in the effort and actually understand, okay, how do I talk to ghosts now, because now I'm going to be working with ghosts because there's actually ghosts and shit. Fuck, this is going to be so annoying. Like, how am I supposed to get a gift for a ghost at work, man? I don't get it.
What are ghosts even like? I got a question for you. I got a question for you, Mike. Is there anything that's like happened to you that has like creeped you out and that you can't explain it?
Well, yeah, let's move away from like all the scientific explanations and talk about experiences and feelings rather than the scientific. Like we're aware that like currently there's no proper definite, but how do we feel about it without scientific explanation?
Well, a lot of it, like, so any of my feelings with any type of paranormal stuff is always just like self-imposed stuff that has happened. So like whenever I had like a bad dream of like, say, this is kind of weird, but it's like back on my family's farm, whenever we would go visit in the summertime, I have like this reoccurring dream of big like fuzzy suit monsters like invading through the bottom of the house and then just like, killing everybody and then coming up to the top room where I'd be and then just like standing over me in bed, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking creepy as shit. But
that's part of dreams.
I think your house is haunted.
But again, that's all just like me having, angst about being on the farm where there are animals out in the bush. Like we had like bears and wolves and other things like that
and
out
fuzzy
there.
Creatures living under your house.
Exactly.
That watch you sleep at night.
So again, it's just like it's kind of that I feel like a lot of it comes from, or at least a lot of my stuff ends up coming from a lot of it, probably some sort of trauma too, because like I always thought like there was, I don't know if everybody else does this, but like when you were down in like the basement and you turn off the lights and just run up the stairs because you're just like, oh shit, something's coming up the stairs. Oh fuck.
Yeah, because it creeps you out. you don't really understand why necessarily. It's just your imagination, right? But
Although, like
it's creepy.
for me, yeah. Although for me, it's just like because my like my parents' bedroom was down in the basement, and then during the time when my dad was around, he was always a very like tyrannical force in the household. So I just kind of associated the basement with like tyranny and evil. So whenever I was down there, just turn off the lights, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, okay, well now the evil is there, so I now gotta
Well,
run upstairs.
that's a common motif of horror in general, is that like evil lives in the basement because like hell is the lowest point of evil, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a religious horror motif.
It's also just like basic instincts. Like the dark is terrifying to people because we can't see what's in it, so therefore it represents danger. And underground is always dangerous too because there's like it's limited escape routes, right? It's
exactly.
It's very confined, so it's a like 2-for-1 deal. That just
Mike's
you
being
only have those
possessed
stairs
as we
to
speak.
escape.
Mike is being
You only
possessed
have
as we
those stairs to
speak.
escape.
What is happening?
I think he's either coughing or sneezing. We taking bets.
I think that's the devil.
He choked.
I actually have a really creepy experience I can share with you guys.
Oh, I'd love
that
to. Yeah.
happened because like I can't really say that anything paranormal ever happened to me until we moved into this house, and then weird shit started happening that kind of like it creeped me and Rebecca out, to be perfectly honest. It started out with my parents live upstairs, so we're sharing a house with my parents right now, and sometimes they'll stomp on the floor to get our attention. It'll just be like, kitchen floor. I'll go upstairs, see what they want, because privacy thing, right? So they're just trying to get our attention. And I was playing Tarkov one day, and Jay knows Tarkov. I'm really into it. Really not focused on anything else, right? And I hear the kind of off in the distance, and I hear them calling my name, like quite audibly, like Zach. And so I was like, 1 minute. I finished. I was just getting out of the raid, put my headset down. I go upstairs, and I'm like, yes, what do you guys want? And they're sitting in the living room, not even in the kitchen, watching TV. And they were like, what? Like, what's going on? I came up in a rush, and I was like, you guys banging on the floor and called. Like, did you need anything? And they were like, no, we didn't do that. We've been sitting here this whole time. Like, no one banged on the floor. It's all good. So I went downstairs, and just Rebecca was in the room. I think you had your headset on, too, and she was just chilling. And I was like, I thought they were trying to get my attention. And she's like, yeah, they banged on the floor and called your name. Did they want anything? And I was like, oh, shit. And so I went back upstairs, and my mom, she's not a good liar. She, like, not in any sense could she pull off, like, anything. And as soon as I explained what happened, she got visibly, like, creeped out. She got very scared. Shit. And I was like, so you're not trying to, like, pull my leg. You didn't call my name right, and there's no way I lived with this woman for my whole life, and she couldn't. And so
she pulled a fast one on you like that.
Yeah. So
played the long
that
game.
creeped us up. And then a couple weeks later, we were all upstairs, and we hear a loud crash coming from the basement. And we go downstairs, and our basement light fixture over the sink had been ripped from the wall, and it was hanging by its wires over the mirror.
Oh my God.
And this was another thing. We were like, what? Like, why? Like, was it just not put in properly? Did the screws come loose? But we checked the mounting fixture, and the place where the screw had been inserted was snapped. So it looked like it had come off with some force. Now, we weren't sure. Again, trying to rationalize it. We're not sure if maybe the previous tenants who lived here, because we're just renting the house, maybe they broke it and just tried to, like, jimmy it up, but it just decided for no apparent reason just to, like, come crashing down.
Yeah.
Okay. And
That's
then, like,
wild.
it's like, we're kind of creeped.
Yeah.
And the last thing, really quick, the last thing that happened to me, I was gaming again just a few nights later, and I was gaming, and Becca was in the room, and I felt something, like, push my arm as if she'd come up behind me and just, like, tap me, and it was enough to make me turn around and just be like, yes, and there was no one there. And I went upstairs and asked my parents if they came down, and my mom got creeped out again, because apparently that was the night that my grandma, like, had died, the anniversary of my grandma's death. And after that, nothing creepy ever happened here ever again. I tried to rationalize everything. I just wrote it off as just like creepy anomalies that like I'll never explain, but they'll live with me forever. You know,
paranormal, if you will.
So with the light thing,
lean back in the chair far away. Paranormal.
Having worked as an electrician for a little while, the amount of like shitty electrical work I've seen done where things are like balanced precariously inside, like something snaps, half the time the electrician like just sets it on top of it, wedges it in place, and says that's good enough and leaves it. They're like, nobody's going to touch this light ever. So there's a good chance that they snapped it. Somebody just like hooked it just barely over the edge of the hook. I was like, it's good. It's fine. So,
and now... Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. And I have no doubt in my mind there's a good explanation for it. But just it happening for no reason after all, I'm like, that's just weird. That's weird.
My first...
Yeah, the other ones still sound creepy. That one's just one that I'm like, I can see where that one came from. Yeah. I've seen so much of it. It's ridiculous.
And Zach, that was me who touched your elbow.
Oh. Gotcha. Well, that now has more of a sexual connotation to it, so I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't look under your desk.
Ben was trying to support you in your rage.
Your shoulder. It's like tapping your shoulder and then going the other way.
Exactly.
Like tap your elbow, and then I went under the desk, and then started feeling all the other funny things.
I'm kind of curious to know though, like of all of you, like of the paranormal occurrences or like I don't know, like beasts or whatever that you know of, which one do you think would be like the most plausible, the most realistic to like actually exist?
Ocean ones.
Yeah, anything in the ocean. Gotta be.
The amount of forest that exists, the chance of something like Bigfoot or something similar to that being like out in the forest is probably the next one after oceans. There's just forests are absolutely massive, and we can't be everywhere at once. And there's a good chance that something out there exists. Maybe not Bigfoot exactly, but something along those lines of some unseen species of animal hidden in the forest. There's a good chance of that one.
Absolutely.
To be fair, up north here, there's a lot of uninhabited space between cities that someone like a railroad worker would be traveling 12 hours through absolutely nothing but wilderness to get from like one place to the other. And if you ever want to hear a creepy story about like something that happened in Canadian wilderness, talk to a railroad worker, because I've heard, and truckers as well, of course, but just like being out in the woods and doing like very quiet railroad travels at nighttime, they're always like saying they see weird shit. How do you refute it? You know, because it's their experience, and they tell good stories. So,
Jay, have you ever had a paranormal activity?
I have. My first experience was when I was very little. Of course, our imaginations are running wild more around then, but I was having this constant fear of this man standing at the edge of my bed and just being like kind of intimidating and laughing at the fact that I was scared of him. He was like just so happy that I was scared. And eventually, once I started telling my mother about it, she was saying that during the time of this reoccurring like nightmare or fear that was happening with me was that I was coming up on the anniversary of her dad's death, and her dad always loved to scare like all of my mom's little sisters and like jump out and freak them out or anything like that. So he was laughing at the fact that I was scared at the edge of the bed. After the death anniversary had passed, all of that stuff stopped happening. And then maybe about a year or two later, I was fast asleep. Maybe I was around 14 at this time, actually, but I end up coming awake from my sleep, and I go straight to my mom and I say, "Don't worry, Grandma says that she's okay." And then like maybe a couple hours later, she got a call from the family saying that we had found out that like my great grandma had passed away. and we had no explanation as to why. There's some weird reason that I said that, and then all of us found out that our grandma had passed away. And so
Whoa.
that's a weird experience,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as like the father thing. But those are really the most like insane experiences. A lot of the other ones could be simple imagination, getting away from me or anything like that. But those are like weird phenomena that have no explanation and could be purely coincidental, but still wild.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Classic.
I've got a paranormal story. One time,
Heathen.
so I went into this house and there's a ghost there. And then I realized I was playing that Phasmophobia game. Oh my gosh. Crazy.
That is real life.
That is real life.
Real.
There's real ghosts.
If we live in a simulation, then you technically have seen a ghost.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes. True.
All right.
My body does function similarly. Try looking up. You know?
I mean, yeah, I can see my feet in this one, so it's a pretty good game.
I can see my feet.
True.
Everybody knows.
The devs really thought this one out.
Yeah.
I think I had some paranormal stuff go on when I was younger. So when I was really little, I spent a lot of time on the Blackfoot Reserve outside of Calgary. And now I don't know if this is the actual story or if it's my grandmother twisted it to fit her like teaching styles for me. But the like traditional Wendigo from like Algonquin legends, it's the cannibal spirit. But what I was told is when I was younger was the Wendigo was a like spirit beast that used to stalk liars through the woods, and the more lies you told, the closer it would get, and you'd basically just always see it there in the background of the woods, staring at you, waiting for you to tell another one so it could come closer until it could eat you in the middle of the night. So I have like very vivid memories of seeing this thing out in the woods, staring at me, and that was very clearly just childhood like twisting. I heard about this. Yeah, it's there, right? But it's pretty damn vivid. I see it like, it's bad.
It's like Slenderman.
Yeah.
In a sense. It's like
that one freaked me out a lot. But then like actual like things that have a better chance of being paranormal is the classic. I was home alone. Like my parents had gone for 2 weeks, and I was like playing games downstairs, and like I didn't have headphones on or anything. Like I had just the TV playing, and I very clearly heard someone stomp upstairs and call my name. And I was like, I am home alone. Like, now I have a fairly large, I have a sword. I shouldn't call it a large knife. It's an actual genuine sword. I got it when I was super weeb in junior high and was like, God damn, I just want a sword. So
as we all do.
I'm walking upstairs with a katana in hand, like ready, because I'm like, who the fuck is in my house? And all the doors were locked, all the windows were closed. Like, I couldn't find any explanation, but it wasn't that I just heard it. Like I felt it shake. Like when somebody stomps really hard on it, you can feel it kind of reverberate through. Like I felt it. Like I was like
same thing with the stomping in my house. Like I felt it.
One sense at a time. So it's not like I just heard it and it could be like auditory illusion. Like it was like I felt it too, and like the stomp and my name call. Like it was weird.
You know that like more about like the Wendigo and stuff. That as well, traditionally they'll scream out and pretend to be loved ones of yours to try and lure yourself closer.
They use the voices.
Yeah,
right?
They use all the voices that you know and try and lure you closer, and the more you believe them,
oh my god. Right as you say this, somebody outside my apartment,
I know what
some little girl was shouting. Oh,
spooky. There was another moment, actually. I was living at the Riverbend house with Brody and Riley, and I was laying in bed on my phone. All my lights were off, and out of nowhere, my desk light just turns on. I was like, what the fuck? So I got up kind of like freaked out, and I turned it off. Like I checked the switch. I took out like because there was a dimmer in it, and obviously dimmers can sometimes just like turn on. So I took the dimmer out, plugged it in, turned it off, got back down in my bed, and it turned on again the moment I sat down in bed. And I was like, this is fucked up. So I unplugged it and I tried to forget about it. And then I couldn't help this feeling, but someone standing at the end of the hallway in the basement that was there. I was across the room, and on the other end of the room, there was a hallway towards the bathroom and the laundry room there. And I kept seeing this dude just standing at the end and like just full attention, completely like just very kind of like a military guy. And I ended up having to like go to Brody. I was like, dude, some weird shit's been going on in the basement. Do you have like anyone in the family that's like in the military and stuff? And he's like, I don't know, like possibly. He's like, okay, well, my light's been turning on and off when it's been turned off, and I keep seeing this dude standing at the end of the hallway like he's like in attention or salute. And eventually he gets information from his family that a family member who had passed away that used to be in the military, all of his stuff is down in the laundry room that's at the end of the hall there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it was another weird little coincidence.
That's not normal.
Yeah. So
One might say paranormal. Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
That is
story,
creepy
Brody.
though. Ooh.
That's the weird thing. Like this house that I'm in now, I've been in this house since 2006, I think. It might have even been like 2005. But I've been in this house, and I know Jay had that experience here. And when I was living here with Sky, all the time, she's like, I feel like there's something in this house. Like, I feel like it's haunted. She also just, like, wants to be haunted.
Yeah.
But she always felt
That about her.
there was something up about this house. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I've been here for so long and literally have never had a paranormal experience here. The only time that I was ever spooked in this house was I had a nightmare that raptors came out of the furnace and came down the hall and attacked me and my brothers. So I was scared that there was raptors in the furnace. And that's
A valid
it.
fear.
That's the only experience I've had. But I've now had two people that feel like or have had spooky experiences in this house. However, I was able to disprove pretty much all of Sky's experiences she had.
Yeah. What
now
was
it just-
some? Now I'm
Yeah,
curious.
I mean, there was just a couple where she was like came running downstairs, like, "Oh my god, the door upstairs slammed! Like, what the fuck? Something's up there." I went up, opened the door, and the window was open on the other side of the door. And I was like, "Okay, well, wind blows through the house. Don't worry about it."
Like I've had issues like that too, like just a door slamming or shit falling off of shelves, and random stuff like that I could attribute to wind or other situations. But like the one thing that stands out is that light in the basement there. Like any time that's ever happened is just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and just the fact that there was like a military man and that my Uncle Greg's stuff was in there, like that's just like a too on the nose of a coincidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is.
That's
Like Ray was saying, things that interact with multiple senses, like the stomping. I think the biggest thing is that I was so into the game at the moment, but I could feel it as much as I could hear it. And I think that's what made it feel so real that I couldn't just dismiss it, you know?
I know the brain can fill in things and like make it seem more. So there's a good chance it wasn't anything, but it made it that much more. Like when I was really going through some of the worst parts of my depression and stuff, I used to have like serious insomnia. So I'd go like days without sleep. So I used to be plagued by like minor visual hallucinations and stuff. So anytime I was like walking home alone, I'd see like things in the dark moving, but I was very clear on like what was real and what wasn't. Like I could see them, but like part of me was always sure that I'm like, that can't be real. And then I'd like turn and look and it would be gone. But there was only ever one sense, like, you know, like I'd feel it around me, like the hairs on the back of my neck, and I'd turn and there wouldn't be anything, or I'd see it there and I wouldn't get the feeling, or like I'd hear something and nothing would be there. It only got me with one, but the stomp was like, it got me on multiple. Like I felt it and I heard it, and that just doesn't happen. At least to me,
Nice.
it never happened to me. So
Yeah, it's affecting. It is affecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm really happy I heard a ghost story from all of you today. That's
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the only one that didn't have one, really.
Yeah, you did.
Which one?
you had the Raptors in the.
Oh, the
You're literally-
Raptors! The Raptors out of the furnace. Yeah, that's true.
Now
This
just
is
check
true.
You're
my
literally
bed.
in hell right now, Brody.
I'm in hell
Like,
right
look at-
now.
Like, look at
Brody.
you for the people that can't see.
Bro, did you
Background
check your
is up.
furnace for raptors before you go to bed?
I do. And screw checking under the bed for monsters. I check my furnace for raptors.
Yo, my reoccurring childhood nightmare, like similar to that, was just a POV from standing at the top of the stairs to my basement, and the bananas in pajamas, arms linked, stomping up the stairs towards me menacingly, just on repeat. And
Dude,
that
those
that
smiles
was
on those guys.
that was terrifying to me.
Damn.
I
had
thought
a
those guys were
recurring
creepy
nightmare as a
enough.
kid, too.
I did
Yeah.
too. Okay, Rare, go.
That was
go
like
with
the
yours.
You go first. I'll tell mine after. You go first
So,
with your recurring nightmare.
My reoccurring nightmare as a kid. I just thought of another one too. Okay, this one's just a quick funny story. I had a dream that I was sleeping with my mouth open and a fly threw down my throat, and I jolted up out of bed and like started bawling and ran to my mom, and I thought a fly threw down my throat. That's the whole story. That was the entire fucking dream. Anyways,
It sounds
reoccurring-
jarring.
yeah, right. The reoccurring dream. So I think it happened. It was probably like 3 years ago, or not 3 years ago. Sorry, 3 years in a row. I just had a dream that a T-Rex was chasing me and I was running, and each year the mouth got a little closer to me. And the last time I had the dream, the mouth was like over top of me, but just hadn't quite closed yet. And they happened always like around, like near my birthday. So like in November-ish. And it was like 3 or 4 years in a row, just the T-Rex getting a little closer every time.
Weird.
It's a metaphor for old age coming to get you.
But I was like
Just
a
ate your
kid.
fucking child.
Yeah.
Just ate your childhood.
Yeah.
Well, and if he gets to you, definitely check your furnace.
He was getting pissed off that you kept on checking the furnace. Now he's coming after you.
Yeah. What's with all
My
these dinosaur
recurring-
dreams?
My recurring childhood nightmare was on my grandparents' farmhouse. It wasn't. They didn't own a farm, but they leased one of the a spare house on someone else's farmyard to be out in the country. And basically on 3 out of the 4 sides there was nothing but fields as far as you could see. Then the other side was the main house, and then behind that fields as far as you could see. It was out past Okotoks, far enough that you couldn't see any more city. And so I used to have this nightmare that I'd walk out onto the balcony facing one of the fields, and I'd see this big black figure standing in the middle of one of the yards, I don't know, a couple hundred yards away, far enough that it was very clearly could be seen as something standing there, but you couldn't make out any details on it.
Mhm.
You know, that kind of distance. Anyway, I call for my grandpa, and he comes running out, and he just turns to me and looks super concerned and says, "Get back inside." And he grabs this big rifle. So I go inside, and you hear the rifle crack, and then he comes back in it's taken care of. Don't worry about it. Right? So I'm like, okay. So I go to one of the windows in the kitchen, and I start trying to make myself a bowl of cereal because, as you all know, I was obsessed with it. Anyways, as I put the bowl down, I see out this window that there's another one between us and the other house. This time it's much closer, and it's a black figure, and it's covered in fur almost, but still far enough that you can't make out any facial detail. You just can kind of see from the way the hair is moving that it's it's clearly not human anymore.
Yeah.
It's not just a figure, it's not human. So I'm like, oh shit, there's another one. And then I run to tell my grandfather, and in that main room there's a massive window, and you can see it in the yard. There's 6 or 7 of them all moving through the fields now. And so he shouts at me, go to the bedroom. So I fall ass down this long hallway, and it was a hallway that was don't know. It had like 3 rooms going down it, and then I was like in the far one end one. So, like I run in and I go, and you can hear one of the doors open. You can hear the rifle crack twice, and then it stops. And then you see a big black shadow coming down the hallway. And then I'd always wake up right as something like a hand started moving into the like doorway frame, and I'd always wake up right then, and like it was terrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty well similar to kind of my farmhouse story too.
Yeah,
but apparently mine
these
are like big fuzzy orange creatures. So I'm like, this is interesting.
But these big hairy creatures on a farmhouse invading your house and coming to your room. That's a common theme, which is crazy. That's an interesting.
That's terrifying.
That's an interesting.
I'm scared of having that nightmare now.
I had that one so many times too. It was like at least a dozen, if not more.
Wow.
You know, it's crazy.
I ever had one of those, like a recurring nightmare at least.
Like when I remember having this one nightmare that someone broke into the house and just like killed my whole family, and like I remember vividly this POV of like the gun in my face and it being pulled. And I've had this nightmare so much as a kid that it was like I went to this it's this police station where they do tours and stuff and talk about crime and stuff. And there's this one station where you can pretend to be a police officer responding to like a burglary or something. And like none of it clicked, but I made this choice, and like it's a life selection, like you choose your own adventure type thing. And I ended up choosing this one choice that had the police officer approach the house. And when he opened the door, he turned to the side and there's a gun in his face. It was so much that like I freaked out and ran out of the police station. That the dream had happened so much. That was my fuzzy creature nightmare. Bananas, you know,
was a gun.
Yeah, it's a gun. Guns are scary.
Guns are scary, man.
Scarier, ghosts or guns?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'd fight a ghost.
Fuzzy orange like creatures coming through the night. I don't know.
I mean, is it just a gun? Because I'd throw hands with just a gun. If it's somebody wielding a gun, I might be a little bit more scared of it. But
I'd fight a gun.
Well, as we all know, you need another gun too. Oh no, never mind. You need 2 cranches.
Yeah, don't bring a gun to a guy fight, hey?
Yeah. Zach, do you have any projects or anything crazy you wanna plug about, or anything you're stoked about recently that you're excited to have happen?
I'm just excited to move, get a fresh start. So I'll be in Edmonton with Rebecca starting on Friday. So
fuck yeah!
If anyone's in Edmonton and wants to link up, can't say I train much anymore, do much other than just like study and.
Well, I broke my arm like a few days ago, so I'm not doing much of anything.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that sucks, man.
But I do plan on coming up to Edmonton soon. I need to do some last little photo shoots and some last little bit of car stuff before I move. And
yeah, let's link up.
You gotta come down for some adventures and some PODI parties and some backyard hangouts and stuff like that.
Hey, we've never been closer.
Much more reasonable. Like
yeah, exactly, right? We used to drive to Calgary every weekend in college just to come train and breathe and vibe with the community. Like ridiculous amount of times we drove to Calgary, so I have no problem. Come over for a weekend, crash. That sounds like fun.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely, you're always welcome.
Breathe is also opening up open gym again on the 15th, so
nice.
That will be a possibility.
Nice.
See if I can still do a climb up with my elbows.
I can't. I was trying so hard. We were out training Thursday. My fat ass, I could not lift it up over a ledge. Like
I got to that point where you're like, you've got the ledge at your chest and you're just struggling to try and get up, and your feet are fucking kicking below you, and it's like trying to get up.
Yeah. I taught those kids once. I know that.
Yeah.
Now I am that kid.
Yeah. Look at us go full circle.
Parkour.
From little kids struggling to instructor.
I'm gonna try to do Yeah.
to
5
full
second
adult
cat hang.
struggle.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Well, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with the podcast. Thank you for listening. Brody, our website's back up and going, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
Try again next week.
Yeah. It'll be pretty soon. Yeah. No comment.
No comment. Copy.
We're working on it.
We'll edit that out.
We just had to. We won't edit that out, actually.
We
But
will edit that out.
We won't edit that out, though.
we won't. But
we can't edit it out now.
We can edit it out, though. Don't worry.
We
about
could
it.
if we wanted to,
Yeah.
but we won't.
but we don't.
But we won't.
because we like it.
So we do have a website. We do have merch. We're just switching platforms that we're hosting our merch on and our website on. So it's been a bit of a transition. But when it does come up and get back and going, if you're listening to this by the time the website's up, the website is podiboys.com, PODIBOYS.com. And if you use the code, I believe it is PODI-Cast 10, podcast 10.
It will be because I have to make a new one. So
Yeah. Okay. Well.
yeah, let's go.
It would be one of those two, but not both. Just one.
Yeah. And
And if you
just
get
one.
it wrong, you'll never get the discount again. It locks you
Yeah.
out of it.
And we're not editing this so that you know what the actual discount code is. So you just might as well follow us on Instagram while you're at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can find it there. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for listening. Don't be afraid to clap some ghost cheeks. And don't be
Or
afraid
do be
to.
afraid.
You might need to be afraid, depending on the ghost cheeks. But the other thing is, don't be afraid to mix your cereal sometime. Don't
Be
don't
afraid
listen
of
to
it.
Rare.
Very
Don't,
afraid of
don't.
Be afraid of rare.
Utilize
if you make
Yeah.
cereal.
Utilize
You're-
all the cereal.
The only
Don't let it go
ghost
to
you
waste.
should be afraid of is Rare's ghost when he sees you mixing cereal.
Astral project my ass over to your house and fuck you up. You mixed your cereal. And with that, goodbye.
Thank you.